All right, everybody. Well, GM, thank you all for joining me on another Friday, another beautiful day for a community call. You all, if you're familiar with our community calls, you guys know how we like to get
Hi guys.
started. Um, what we like to do is we like to start off by just recapping our past week, whether it's like work related things or just life related things. Um, So just to recapitulate really quickly on what was happening the past week with me, finally bouncing back from COVID, thankfully, for the second time. It was not fun. It was pretty miserable to be honest, but recovered and have been bouncing back better than ever. Lots of exciting things have been going on here at Invarch, so it's been cool. I was actually able to somewhat help, even though I was like sick in bed with COVID for ever, it felt like. I was isolated to my bedroom, so it was just like I had the opportunity to either watch TV and get really bored, or I could sit on my laptop and be productive. So I chose the latter most of the time. But, um, anyways, that's how my week went for the most part, except for up until Wednesday. I started to feel a lot better, bounced back. And at this point, I feel completely okay again. So, very thankful to be feeling on top of myself once more. And yeah, all right. My week was good. AJ, what about you, buddy? I see you're here as well.
Yes. Hello, everyone in March community. If there are um, even like broader Sama community members, hello. Good morning. At least from my side of the world. Yeah. Week's been great. Been working a lot, working hard. When it comes to the social media management of Invarch and Tinkernet, as well as still working on this really big article for really just anyone that wants to learn more about IP um, and the greater significance of Invarch and technology surrounding that. So, yeah, it's been a good week.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Thanks for sharing. Um, Going into the cream of the crop, I guess, so to say, we do have some exciting stuff as well that we want to just dive right on in to share with you guys. So, most of you keep up with our weekly Wednesdays. For those of you who do not keep up or have not been keeping up, unfortunately, we do have some very exciting things to tell you, which is that as of August 8th, according to Block Time, Tinkernet will be onboarded to the Canaria network. So this is something that we've been waiting for a very long time. Envisioning since literally last year when we all had to start. We envisioned finally securing a parachain and some of our technology being able to be tested, being deployed, and getting to watch people tinker around with it. It's ironic because before we ever decided we wanted to do TinkerNet, so to say, or be on the Canary network, any of it. Because for those of you who have been here with us earlier, you'll know that we did not want to originally do a Kusama parachain actually. Um, and then we ended up doing like a community vote. The community voted in favor of it, and then we were still like, no, we still don't think it's a good idea. But we ended up changing our minds, choosing to do with what the community wanted to do with it, and we named it Tinkernet. And the irony in that is now we will get to see people actually get to quote unquote tinker around with technologies such as, INV4, people getting to see INV4 get and get to actually test around with that as well. So things like this is going to be very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to it deploying. Who knows? It says August 8th, but that's also determined, just by the block time. So if something crazy happens and it happens sooner, which we are not anticipating, we will let you guys know. But in just so you all are fully aware, that is the plan for how TinkerNet will be onboarded. Excuse me, my voice is giving out a little bit again. TinkerNet as a parachain as well, like the INV4 protocol and all these different amazing things that are connected to it. Um, we are also TinkerNet is going to be the first to showcase palette implementation of Remark NFTs for Substrate that will exist on Kusama. So this is very, very, very exciting. We set out on a journey to basically earn that composability between Remark NFTs about 6 months ago by pitching a vision that would very, very much strengthen the Remark NFT standard, but also bolster our Invarch technology. And when we pitched it to the Remark team, they loved it. They immediately were like, "Yes, let's do this." As you all are well aware of, we've partnered with Remark, so this is no new news to you guys. But it's still a very big highlight that I think is worth pointing out to everyone because no other blockchain has this right now except for Remark. They're giving us that composability with their NFT standard. Then, following up Tinkernet, on top of that exciting news, in approximately 2 months, if you guys have once again been keeping up with the weekly Wednesdays, in approximately 2 months after the deployment of the Tinkernet parachain, the OSIF, or On-Chain Innovation Funding Protocol, for those of you who don't know what it stands for, is going to go live. If you don't know what OSIF is, you can catch up on it in our Edu series. If you haven't read about it yet, actually, I will grab that article for you. I had it up earlier somewhere, and I will drop it in the chat just so you guys can get refamiliarized with OSIF. We definitely want you all to know what that's going to be able to do. It's certainly unique. There you go. I just dropped it in the chat. For anyone, if you go over the Invarchitect Community Lounge channel, there's a little bubble that says Open Chat. If you click that, I just dropped the link to the article there. Sorry guys, my voice just keeps like giving out. But OSIF is very, very significant. Like, suppose a project is interested in building a community presence and like getting feedback, establishing enough time to fuel development or cover startup costs without asking people for their money. Then IP staking is the way. And OSIF is what allows like 3 different IP staking models. There's IP staking, IP farming, IP donations. IP staking is for community support-based fundraising. IP farming is for establishing price discovery, token liquidity, and user bases. And then you have IP donations, which is for community-supported and charity-funded grant initiatives. What's super, super significant about these is 2 of these models are very, very, very unique, in my opinion. I think one of the most interesting applications that you could see with this is with IP donations. With IP donations, you could actually even, depending on where you live, it is like subject to your location. But depending on where you live, you can even get, tax breaks and incentives for donating to these types of things. So I think that's very, very exciting. I know that as well, we have some other people here, like AJ, I know, has talked to me a little bit about OSIF. I believe a couple of the guys here as well have talked to me about their visions of OSIF. Does anybody want to share? I'll start off with AJ, and then anybody else, like if you guys want to be thinking about it to share it with the community, please feel free to do so. But AJ, what are you most excited for? Out of the 3 different models that exist for OSIF, which one is your favorite and why? Like as stated, mine is IP donations, because I think it's going to be very, very charitable. I think a lot of people are going to take advantage of this, and I think it's going to have a lot of benefit. But that's just my own personal opinion. AJ, what is yours? Like IP staking, IP donations, or IP farming? Which one do you think is like the most unique or revolutionary in your opinion, and why?
Yeah, I personally, um, even though, to be honest, IP donations is, I think, um, a more personal take. I think I can really see the world truly adopting that the most, if not the most, then I mean at least head on. But um, I really like IP farming. Um, the fact that you secure and establish liquidity right off the bat, and you have a user base, and like users that have the Varch token, whatever that is, launched, you're able to stake your tokens to the network, and then either allocate a percentage of it or 100% of it, like all the staking rewards to a farmable IP set of their choice. So that's like really powerful, because if you like a certain IP set, if you like its utility, if you think that it's truly revolutionary or innovative, it's basically just kind of like, I guess, in the most basic understanding, it's basically like, like investing in a business, but you're investing in like solid IP, that either has like someone really good behind it, like a really good creator, or a whole team, or and it's all on chain. So I think, yeah, like IP farming definitely attracts me personally.
Okay. IP farming. Yeah, I figured between IP farming, IP staking, and IP donations, definitely I think the most two attractive, in my opinion, is IP farming and IP donations. They're so unique and so well thought out, elaborate staking models that are beneficial. Like, I think they're revolutionary. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask regarding OSIF or, you know, Tinkernet deploying on the Canary Network August 8th? If anybody has any questions regarding that, please feel free to ask them now, or like drop a message in the Community Lounge channel if you don't feel comfortable saying it out loud. But I do want to just reiterate, this is everybody's lounge channel. Anybody can unmute themselves and give their opinion, give their piece if you feel comfortable talking. That's what this is for. It's just a, chalant, laid-back community lounge channel for us to talk, give you guys some updates, make sure you guys have kept up with things, and just get community feedback and kind of hang out with you guys, We do a lot of talking with a lot of you back and forth, but we don't get this kind of like one-on-one voice communication very often. So I really like to get the community engagement, get community feedback, and just hear what the community has to think, or like what they're excited about. So please, if anybody has any questions regarding OSIF, Tinkernet, or just Tinkernet onboarding, go ahead now and ask, please. All right. Doesn't appear anybody has any questions right now regarding Tinkernet or OSIF or the onboarding of Tinkernet. So if anybody does think of one that they'd like to ask, either DM me it. If you think of it later, you can drop it in the Community Lounge channel, or you can try to ask it in an actual question. Moving on into the next subject, though, the Tinkernet crowd loan reward allocations. So I'm sure most of you have probably seen this. This was something that was pretty hyped. If you guys haven't, though, I want to share this news with you, share this with community members who might look back on this recording. Tinkernet crowd loan reward allocations. So the Tinkernet crowd loan saw over 10,000 Kusama contributed, and in return for contributors, over 880,000 Tinker rewards plus 468,000 in bonus Tinker was unlocked through inducement bonus allocations. The bonus Tinker is being distributed amongst individuals who contributed from the very start of the crowd loan up until the 8,000th Kusama. So if you guys are excited about your rewards, we just wanted to make sure you guys are updated on the different KSM and Tinker like reward allocations, bonus reward allocations that you guys are getting, and how that was being distributed. As far as when Tinker TGE, I know that somebody asked me this like 2 days ago, and I seen also somebody was saying that they thought it was on July 26th. I apologize, that was not the case. I don't know where that individual ever seen that it was July 26th, because we have never said that. But as far as like when TGE, There is not a set date yet, but we are in talks about it. It's hopefully, so do not quote us on this, but it will hopefully take place roughly a month after onboarding. We would like to see it take place then, but that is not like a 100% guarantee. We will give you guys, once we establish a concrete date, we will absolutely provide that update for you all, but that is what we have discussed. So if anybody has any questions regarding their Tinkernet crowd loan, like rewards or anything like that, speak now or forever hold your peace. Also, I do want to say we will be deploying soon something to collect the wallet addresses for everyone. So be on the lookout for that, because we will make sure to push it on every outlet that we can, because anybody who contributed, anybody who actually donated KSM for Tinker, we want you guys to be able to like give us the wallets. So we also have extra things planned, but I can't drop any more alpha for that. So just be prepared for that announcement regarding like a bot collecting those things, because we will be doing that soon. Excuse me. Moving on into the next subject. So I don't know if any of you guys have seen it or not, but the Invarch website, as well as our entire like theme, is getting a update. So if you guys are interested in looking at what that looks like, go ahead and head on over to @InvarchNetwork on Twitter. You can see a kind of sneak peek as to what our website will look like. This is a new branding update that we're doing. Right now, it's only visible on our Twitter that you guys can see it. We wanted to provide a sneak peek for everyone, but you guys can expect the website to reflect this type of theme and consistency very, very soon. We're excited for the website update that we've been working on for a while now. A lot of exciting things planned with it, so just be prepared for that update whenever all of that goes live. Excuse me, guys, my voice just keeps giving out. I'm excited for the branding update because some of the stuff that we have planned is really, really cool. I can't share all the details with you guys, but we have some exciting things planned with the branding update, and I'll leave it at that. But going on into the next thing is the ambassador program. So our ambassador program is going to be undergoing some pretty big changes. For those of you now who are listening, who are ambassadors, I will be providing a community sync ambassador update in the embassy channel in roughly an hour and 10 minutes, giving you guys kind of some updates as to what you can expect moving forward for the ambassador program. And I also just wanted to tell those of you who are interested in joining the ambassador program, we are very interested in having you. Right now, we have set targets that we're trying to meet for geolocation reasons. However, we are potentially going to be, looking past some of the restrictions there, depending on just basically size and need of the program. But keep in mind, like for some of you guys, I've been receiving a lot of messages the past 5 days regarding the ambassador program. Individuals wanting to get in, like saying, "Hey, I've applied. I want to join the embassy." For one, the recruitment is, I understand, it's a little bit slower than usual. Reason being is, for one, we've been plotting all these different changes for the ambassador program, lots of updates. For one, like the ambassador handbook kind of got a huge overhaul update that's going to be released when everything changes. The other thing as well, we will be doing, I'll save that one for the embassy channel. That's some cool alpha. I don't want to drop that for everybody. If you're an ambassador though, definitely you're not going to want to miss that community call in our embassy channel in about an hour. But if you haven't been an ambassador of our program yet, I highly encourage you to apply, especially if you're from a region like, for example, the United States, the United Kingdom, Europe, Asia, all these different places. We really, really, really need individuals from this. If you have friends that are inside of the .sama / even just Web3 community, or you have friends that are developers in Web2, etc., please, please invite them into our community. We would be more than welcome to have them, especially developers, actually, because with the INV4 Git demo that we just released, we think it's going to be something that they will love. If you guys haven't seen the INV4 Git demo, it literally basically is the same thing that they're used to on a command line interface coding, except they're not coding in Web 2, they're coding in Web 3. So it's very, very significant. Excuse me, I gotta take another drink. I don't know why my throat is like as dry as it could possibly be. But it does get sorry guys. The ambassador program though, it's getting a massive update, as well as we are trying to expand as far as we can. We want a broad program, and we have some changes as well coming for regular members, to kind of incentivize some competition. We've heard some, we wanted to address some concerns that people had, like there was a lack of competition in the program and people didn't like that. So that's something that we've addressed. We're going to be reintroducing a mechanism to basically build competition and friendly competition in the community to motivate individuals to produce amazing things for the project as well. One other thing that I will say that is changing, and I'll let everybody know this because I think this is pretty cool. Sorry. For those of you who will be writing articles or have been doing designs and infographics and things of that nature, we will soon be featuring them directly. And what I mean by that is, if you write an article, for example, and your article is selected out of a group of articles that is submitted for a theme, then if your article is selected, you will get rewarded. On top of, we will feature your article directly. You will not post it yourself. Obviously you can on your Medium if you want to, but we will directly post your article through, for example, the Invarge Medium channel, and we will directly cite you as the author as well of this. So we are exposing not only your content to our entire community who will read it, but we're promoting you in a sense that you've helped us as a project. You've wrote this incredible article, for example. We want to promote it. We want to highlight how awesome this is. So it's a win-win in our eyes. Very exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to all these different changes that we have. Lots of things changing, being simplified, and also just a healthy dose of competition being reignited into the ambassador program. I guess the other thing too that I wanted to say is with the ambassador program changing, as far as when the changes will be implemented, we are looking to change things during this round. And for what it will change, we will have updates as soon as possible. Once everything is 100% solidified, we will provide a community update. There will most likely be different channels being added to the embassy as well. And for example, this is a big question I'm getting asked, is as far as core roles for members who will be new core members moving forward. Basically every single role will have to have an actual interview. And what does that mean? I will actually be sitting down, we'll be having a one-on-one FaceTime call through our laptops, computer, either or, and just having a basic conversation. One of the things that core members will need to possess as well is very good English skills. Its accent is not a killer. An accent is not a big deal, but the person needs to understand. They need to be able to understand English 100%, and they need to be able to speak English well without having issue. because if you're a core member, you're going to be, regardless of what position you're in, you will be answering questions representing us as a community, and you're going to be getting a lot of different questions, of course, in your own native language, but you will also be getting questions in English frequently in these positions. So, with that being said, I just want everyone to keep that in mind, like, because I've been getting a lot of people submitting me really cool stuff, really good content. But, like, for example, I'm getting a lot of articles, but they're not in English, and there are people like pushing, like, hey, I want to be a core member. If you want to be a core member, the best thing that I can tell you to do if you're not even an Army member is to one, apply for the Army, get in there first. Um, if you get in the Army and you like the way the mechanics work and things are going, then I think if that's something that you enjoy, the Corps is a step up from that. It's a bigger challenge, so to say. You have more responsibility on your shoulders for our program as well as just our community. So if that's something that you want after becoming an Army member, I highly encourage it. Now, that's not to say that somebody can't just immediately become a Corps member, depending on, for example, like program needs. Um, if we need somebody for a certain position and they fit the category for everything that we need, we may fill them in immediately, you know. Also, core roles are not to be like rushed, they're not to be filled as fast as possible. Um, but, you know, that's something else I wanted to reiterate was core roles. We have listed them out in the new Ambassador Handbook update about roughly how many we want for each position. So when we release that new handbook update, I know people are going to be like, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. Just keep in mind, we're not rushing to fill them as fast as we can. We want to fill them, yes, but we want to ensure that the right candidates are in these positions, meaning that every one of you will have to go through an interview. We'll have to make sure you're a good fit for the position and get you set up in the server with all the necessary permissions and on the different sheets that we use with all the correct permissions, and kind of walk you through the processes one on one. So that's just something moving forward that I want everyone to keep in mind. If you've been contemplating becoming a core member, these are things that you need to be able to possess. For our core members who are already in their positions, you guys don't need to like worry about a thing, because I know a couple of you guys are in this call right now. If you guys were already in that position, it was because we already felt like you were, you know, you could speak English well enough, you were significant enough in doing so, you've proven yourself. So for those of you who are already core members, no worries, you guys are good to go. But this is just for new individuals moving forward. They will undergo like a full interview. Things are changing, but it's very exciting. So uh, moving on, though, I would like to say we do have one of our new team members in here. His name is Jake. Jake, I would like for you to go ahead, introduce yourself, say hi to the community, and let them know what you do here at Invarch and what you've been up to since you joined the team recently. Jake is our newest team member. We will also be getting another new team member at the start of August named Pedro. But right now, Jake has been rocking. So, Jake, go ahead, introduce yourself, let the community know what you've been up to, man.
Hey, thanks, Casey. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're clear.
All right, cool. Hey, everyone. My name is Jake. I'm a Substrate Rust developer. I've been with the team for maybe about a month now, or almost a month. Um, Really, what I've done first is go learn the entire code base. Many people aren't, code inclined, but if you really want to learn what Invarch can do and what is there so far, the best way is to go study the open source code base. So the first thing I've really done is go through and add comments to a lot of the code base. So if you're interested in checking that out, then it'll be significantly more readable and easier to understand than it was before. They're not there yet, but they'll be. I have all that work, and I'll be pushing it into the main branch here probably within a couple days, maybe. Yeah, that's what I've been up to so far.
Wow, awesome stuff, man. Thank you for that. Because, yeah, I personally also would love to just be able to look at the code and be able to be like simplified explanation of what this is, what it does. So having something like that provided for everybody to be able to access because it's open source, that's really awesome, Jake. Keep up the good work, man. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, guys, we also have one of our community super fans, super fan favorites in here. Dustin Crypto Hustler. Um, I would like to say GM to you, good sir, as well as ask you what are you excited about, because we've been talking a little bit back and forth on Telegram. So I'd like to get your direct feedback because I know you understand it very well. What are you most excited for us being onboarded to the Canary Network? August 8th, according to block time, that's what we're expecting to do.
Uh, GM, everybody, thank you, community. Thank you, AC. It's great to have you on there, Jake, today. I've seen your face up there, so it's cool to see you. But yeah, so I'm excited. Tinkernet onboarding, opening some HRMP channels, sending some messages across, getting some of that Tinker, moving around, some liquidity.
I'm very excited.
Showing up some pools and just getting the word out and hopefully start utilizing some of the protocols and getting some people registered or projects registered with the Tinkernet and, start utilizing some of the features. It's really exciting what you guys are building.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it or not, in the most recent weekly Wednesday we did. But you're talking about the protocols going live 2 months after Tinkernet is onboarded. It is the plan that OSIF will go live on Tinkernet as well.
Ooh, that's exciting. Yeah, that's cool.
We're talking IP donations, IP farming, IP staking, all being a reality within the next basically 2 months. So it's pretty significant. I get a little fanboyish talking about it because I can just imagine all the different possibilities. I just imagine myself when I'm thinking about it, picture myself almost in a meme because I'm sitting there thinking about all the different possibilities, all the different things that can be affected by this and changed. It's very significant, and it's crazy to think that OSIF was literally thought up less than a year ago, and here we go, it's going to be live. So very, very significant, and once OSIF is done, once OSIF is fully done and live, then we move on into the big boy, the big, the baby of the project, if you will, the XCA. If you guys can't tell, I think that's going to be our founder's favorite protocol. He literally calls himself the XCA astronaut. So I think he's pretty excited for that to get underway. XCA, unarguably, I think, will be one of the most significant protocols that is going to be developed possibly ever. Cross-chain authentication and eventually anti-plagiarism and piracy-resistant assets existing in all of Web3. I think that's an insane thing to believe. We had, XCM and we thought that was crazy, and then this is basically XCM on steroids. So I'm excited to see how not only the world but the rest of the Dotsama community continues to react to not only Invarch and Tinkernet, but the different protocols that we keep introducing. And then also, not to mention just the crazy things that the other teams just keep coming up with, because as of lately, we really have seen some other insane innovation in the space. For example, I know it's not super relevantly new news, but I do like to always highlight the fact that fat contracts by Fala, that's a relatively still kind of new thing, not newish, but still new concept that they came out with. Fat contracts are insane. If you guys haven't read about them, I highly encourage you guys to, because it's definitely worth checking out. It's pretty technical, so I don't want to try to give the definition and butcher it, but it's definitely significant. Moving on into the last thing, does anybody else have possibly any questions or Dotsama questions, anything that they want to say or anything that they want to talk about as well regarding Dotsama at all? Now is the time. I have provided basically all of the updates that I wanted to give you guys already. So if anybody has any questions at all regarding TinkerNet, anything like that, TinkerNet, Invarch, onboarding, crowd loan allocation, I mean, just ask away. This is the time for it. So I don't want anybody to feel like they didn't get the opportunity to ask a question. So go ahead, guys. If anybody has any questions, unmute yourselves or send a message directly, please. All right, we have someone typing a question, it looks like. How to describe palette in 2 words. How to describe a palette in 2 words? That is a good question. I'm gonna ask our developer here, Jake. How would you describe a palette in 2 words?
Okay, a palette is kind of like, I guess Legos is really the term that I would like to use, that, you know, a lot of people can understand that analogy. There's quite a few palettes in the Substrate ecosystem now. You know, originally it started out, or Parity built a number of palettes in-house to start to get things started that cover a number of things. Like one palette is the balances palette. That's what actually manages, you know, the cryptocurrency, like the token. Then there's like a governance palette, you know, there's a staking palette, etc. So palettes, they're focused towards specific things. And then when you combine multiple palettes together in your runtime for these layer 1 substrate chains, that's when you have all this different functionality come together to create a unique product. And also taking different palettes together, and then you can, you know, build something even greater on top of those. So it is really, you can think of it like Legos. A lot of people can start with the same pieces and end with something completely different that does something new and unique.
Wow, that was a great explanation, Jake. Thank you. I was gonna just be like Legos, imagine Legos, but that was, you know, very good technical description as well as to what you're doing with the palettes on Substrate. Does anybody else have any other questions for us? Feel free to ask away. If not, I do want to say that I can promise this one was recorded, guys. I have, like, once again started using different software. The upload time takes significantly longer. That's the only complaint that I have about it. It takes like literally a few hours usually, but it uploads. It doesn't delete whenever I say, you know, stop the recording. Like the last, unfortunately, I don't think the last community call was. It might have been, but the 2 before that definitely were accidentally like messed up. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask now, or if not, we will end the community call for this Friday and we will rejoin next Friday. All right, guys. So it doesn't appear like anybody has any questions. So thank you all so much for joining me this morning. I know these things are kind of early for some people, kind of later for some individuals as well. So once again, I greatly appreciate all of you joining in on the Invarch morning community calls to kick off your weekend. I hope you all have enjoyed the camaraderie, the questions, the information that we provided you all this week. I, once again, have been feeling a million times better. A lot of that is thanks to you guys, you know, sending a lot of encouraging messages as well. A lot of you guys reached out to me when I wasn't feeling good with COVID, and just provided a lot of encouragement. So once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for that. That was really nice. I think that might have been why I recovered a little bit quicker. So thank you all. If you all will have the pleasure of joining me next Friday, we will have more exciting news to provide you guys at the exact same time. So I expect to see all of you there again. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Later.
Thanks, Casey.